There we are. It's telling me I'm live. So here we are again. And I always look a mess. It's no good. Right. Yeah. What is happening today? Well, apart from a lot of talk and stuff, it seems fairly quiet for everyone at the moment. I think most of the action for anything wanting to happen is more or less at the weekend, isn't it? Okay, I'm just trying to sort out my bits of paper here. I can't believe I get in such a mess. I'll write all these bits down, and the more I seem to try to keep it tidy, the worse it gets. So, try to clear the desk off here from all these bits and pieces. Don't know what the hell we got in here. Oh, crumbs. I can't believe we get so much rubbish with just two of us living. Goodness knows what other households do. Trash must be enormous now. I remember when we used to live across the way a little bit from where we do now. Sort of, if you looked out of our front window and sort of across that a ways, there was the council dump, and it was a great big area of wasteland, and that they would sort of bring a digger in and dig it out a little bit, and then along had come all the rubbish lorries, the garbage trucks, and then they would just tip all this stuff into this big hole that had been dug, and then they'd cover it up, and then they'd go somewhere else and they'd dig another big hole. And I think, because I haven't been up around that way for quite some time now, but I think they've built houses on it now, because obviously all the trash stuff, it's got a different system to it, hasn't it? Now we've got all this recycling stuff going on, which I suppose in a way is a good idea. But even so, they don't take all stuff, do they? They still have a list of what you can recycle and what they won't recycle. But it's certainly different to what it used to be. And my gosh, when going back to when I was a youngster, you used to have your dustbin outside. They used to put it outside on by your front gate once a week, and along had come the dust cart, and the man had come and take the lid off, lift the bin up, carry it on his back, and shove it over like that into the back of the lorry. Not a very nice job, really. Not half as sort of healthy as it is now, because everything is now in plastic sacks, isn't it? And so the job is much different, which I reckon is not a bad thing. But that's how it's going on. I was just having a think, actually, back in our news. That was back a few months back now. The bin men were on strike. Now, is that up in Birmingham or Manchester? And I've got an idea that is still going on. Can you imagine? They had sacks and sacks, piles of rubbish and garbage, black sacked, just piled up everywhere in the town and in along where places, the estates in that. And the bin men just weren't picking it up. I think in the end, some of them they got volunteers to do it, and some of it they got the army in to do it. But I still think the strike is going on because people begin to have rats and goodness knows what in their houses because this piles of garbage was coming up, piling up so close to the houses. Hi, Rain Fan. We're talking about garbage. Yeah. I don't know what brought that on. Oh, yes, it started with me trying to clear the bits and pieces of rubbish off my desk here. It doesn't seem to have worked much. I'm going to have to get a little Hoover out to pick up all the I don't know. It could be cake crumbs because I did eat cake earlier on, didn't I? But who knows? So, yes, as was as well. We used to do. Do you know? I think ours was the same. It was on a Tuesday. Put it out on a Monday for a Tuesday. Now we have to put ours out on a Wednesday for the Thursday morning. Yeah, they changed ours a little while ago. It's certainly a better way that they do now for cleaning the garbage, for clearing garbage and that. They were talking about ordinary sort of garbage, not the recycling stuff. Because obviously you put your food in your food bin and then you put your plastic and cardboard and papers in another thing. And then whatever you've got left over, stuff that they don't recycle, in your black bin bag. And that was, I think it's every 3 weeks now they take that, like a full load. But like I said just now, I can't believe how much rubbish we get through. But then I suppose it shows you exactly how the stuff is packaged in the shops nowadays that you buy. I mean, because we've got plastic containers. We've always got plastic containers all over the place here. Of course, because we eat a lot of fruit and they're all done up in plastic containers. But you can't avoid it, I suppose. You can't avoid all the plastic stuff. We don't get a great deal of food waste. We're quite good there. We sort of eat more or less everything we've got on our plates. Oh, with bottle caps. Yes, now I always thought that they didn't like the bottle caps on the bottles, that you had to take them off and put them in your ordinary garbage stuff. But I see, I mean, my husband, he does all that sort of stuff. And I don't ever see him taking any tops off the bottles. I mean, we get, I think it's all plastic bottles. The only thing sometimes we get glass bottles is with wine bottles, and and now we hardly drink. Well, I don't drink wine, and my husband hardly ever does. He quite likes the slur, I think you call it. I'm not quite sure what that is. Has different flavours to it. He sometimes buys a bottle of that, and that's always in a glass bottle. It's America's all with food waste. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, I'm not sure. Some people do recycle the food waste, and I know some people don't. They just chuck it in the ordinary bin. we try to recycle food waste, but we get very little. And sometimes my husband says, "Well, there's hardly any food. Food might be only just one little bit. Is it worth putting it out?" And I said to him, "Yeah, of course it's worth putting it out." But as I was saying, it's just the plastic stuff that we get so much of. And it's incredible. It's the same, I say the same with our laundry. I don't know where all the blinking stuff comes that needs the washing up every week. Mind you, I must admit, because of my husband, what he does, I mean, he always he changes his clothes as soon as he comes up here, because it gets it's surprising when you're cutting hair how all the little bits, just little minutest bits of hair just fly about all over the place. You can't help it. But yeah, recycle. And it's like composting, and that is something else. What I would, if it was, if I had a sort of a say in it, what I would have, I'd have a compost heap back here, and I would also have an incinerator, so that a fair amount of our stuff. And if I remember rightly from, when my granddad particularly used to garden, and when we went to stay with my grandparents, I can remember that then you had your open fire, or you had what you called a range, and there was a fire part of it, and then the next right onto it as well was the oven as well, where you cooked. And when you look at them now and you think to yourself, gosh, you'd get a meal out of that. And I'll tell you a story in a minute about. But I can remember we used to have some lovely Sunday dinners at my grandmother's. But going back to the composting and that, my grandfather, because you used to have ash from the fire every day, and we even did when I was when we were living in the house down in the country where I used to be. You used to take the ash and put that on the garden, because some of that apparently used to be quite good for the garden. And when you think about it, a lot of the stuff then, those days, nothing really went to waste. Yeah. And you never seen get used? No. No, we've never had a pizza oven. We've had barbecues and that. But see, this goes back to the thing where you can just shoot down the supermarket and pick up a pizza, can't you? Or you can order one to be delivered. Mm. And they say we need to put it in a bin. They always try, don't they? When somebody tries to do something worthwhile, they always try to put a block on it, or a rule and regulation about it, and all this stupid health and safety stuff. Honestly, a health and safety story I can tell you. When we moved in here, we wanted the Sky television satellite set up. So how our place is, if you've got to come through an alleyway to get to our front door. You've got the street door that you come through that into our right. So we've got, if you were looking towards our place, on the left hand side, you've got the wall, that is the shop, and that goes sort of up so many feet, and then you've got the flat roof. And then for us here, the flat on the top of it all, it obviously it goes up again, and then it's the flat roof again that is up above me here, right? So you've got sort of two levels. It's not a straight up to the roof, like goodness knows how many feet all at once. We had the satellite men come to install the dish. So they came through, and one of them, they looking around and they said, sort of, where to put the dish. And obviously they wanted to put it up. And we've got a chimney on the side here as well. So it would have gone on the chimney. So they looked at it and they said to me, "Oh, we'll have to get in touch with the boss about this. We can't go up there." And I am looking at them in amazement. You're aerial installers. What do you mean you can't get up there on the roof? "Oh, no, health and safety. We'll have to get in touch with the office and see what they say about it." So I said to him, I said, "Look, you got to put only half a length of a big ladder up against the wall here. That'll get you onto the shop roof. You then put the ladder up again, no higher, to get into the roof, to get to where you want to put the aerial." I said, "That's not health and safety." I said, "My husband does that when he needs to get up to do something up there." Oh, and they had to get in touch and they had to ask if they were allowed to do it. I couldn't believe it. Aerial fitters, an aerial goes up on the roof, does it not? Stupid. That's health and safety for you. Vanshika, hi, hello. We are, I don't know, we usually find something to talk about on here. Sometimes I can drag up a little story or so. There's another little story I was just going to say, going back to my grandmother's place, right? And I was saying that they had this thing called a range, a big black, and it sat in an alcove, very, very similar to what are those ones they call now? I can't remember them. An Arga cooker. I don't know if they're still about now, but the Arga cookers were much nicer looking. These were black, and you had one side for the fire, and the fire stoked the oven that was attached to it on the next bit, and that gave enough heat for you to cook if you wanted to cook anything in the oven. And as I say, we used to have lovely roast dinners and that from there. And when you think you couldn't control the temperature of that oven, it just, I suppose, depended on how fierce you stoked the fire up. But it was very hit and miss, really. And I can't believe that they used to be able to cook on there. But my grandmother had Manx cats. I'm not sure if you know, Manx cats are cats that haven't got a tail. And they are also extremely spiteful and nasty. They're not, to me, they're not a pet at all. They're quite feral in a way, even though they're a house cat. And those cats, they'd sleep in that oven. Obviously, they would wait until the fire had died down on it, so it wasn't so hot. But any time of the day, if you went and opened the oven door, these cats would jump out, and that was their home in the oven. Incredible. Stupid cats, really nasty cats as well. You couldn't touch them. I don't know why ever my grandmother had them, and I have no idea where she got them from. But apparently there was a Tom and a female, because they kept having these blasted kittens. Gosh, yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? Whoa. Well, I wrote a little poem this morning, and I'm not sure if anybody is up for hearing a little poem. It's not very long, but it all sort of came into my head as I was listening to the news this morning on the television, the news is nothing but upheaval and upset and just about anything that really I feel shouldn't be going on as much as it is. So I've not written it out properly. I've got it on this paper, so I'm hoping I can understand my writing to just read it out to you. I'm going to have to put it down a little bit better than this, I think. But here we go. What do they say? Eyes down. It's eyes down and look in, but that's for bingo. It's not for poetry. Why do I sigh in such despair? The news is shouting it's not fair. People angry, people cross, calm and patience at a loss. Every day gets so bad. The feeling of all, it is so sad. Then there needs to be a mediator, one who will calmly say, don't be a hater. No one is there, and will there ever be a person who can calm things sensibly? All level thought has gone away. Protest and attack nearly every day. This antagonism just takes over. So many times now, people taking cover. People who just want to live their lives. Though history, this hate survives. Innocent ones, targets for hate. Young ones who don't know what's their fate. Will they begin to understand? They're targets, so haters, stay your hand. Stop this protest. Let the young ones. You see, now I can't read my writing. That's a shame, isn't it? Stop this protest. Stop this ever-growing protest. Let the young ones just do their best to go about work and play and give them peace each and every day. Sorry, it was a bit of a mishmash at the end, wasn't it? I should have written it down properly. But that was what I did this morning. So we should talk about happier things, should we not? Though everybody's head is full of stuff I don't want my head to be full of, things that I don't want to be happening. Everybody seems to have such a hard opinion. Nobody seems to want to sit down and sort anything out. So, bring back the good old 1950s, I say. Everyone was so shattered by the end of the Second World War. I think that we were all sort of blown about a bit, and we had the feeling of, phew, let's just sit down and take a rest now. And it's all so different now. Yeah, I think everybody knows what I feel. I can't understand why people can't sit and talk. It's so much better rather than fight and argue all the time. So one person may not agree with another person, but you don't have to smack their brains out, do you? No. So they was saying about we had a big protest in London again at the weekend, and they were saying about 400 odd people were arrested, but every single picture that they show, it was peaceful. People were just stood around I didn't see any aggravation going on there, but obviously the police must have found somebody, some of them, and carted them off. I don't know. There you go. So the government are going to try and stop it by giving the police bigger power. It's not going to stop it. The more you push against something, the more people will push back, won't they? But what's to do? So what else can we talk about? Talk about the weather. It's looking a bit dull. We've had sunshine. It's looking a bit dull now, I suppose. There we go. I was going to see what the weather was going to do here. What does my phone say? What's going to be happening today? Okay. Don't know. We're going to have quite a few days where we're not going to get any rain. So just reading what was on the... Oh, gosh. Can you lot not talk about something else? Surely there's something much happier going on. I was saying earlier on, we don't seem to have the comedians about like we used to have. And the things, the comedy stuff that we used to get on the television, they don't do that anymore. To be honest, the television is such rubbish. Yet they still want to put the license up and charge everybody an arm and a leg for watching stuff that 99% of it lately is repeats. So I went to find out the other day, what if you don't pay your television license? And you know what? You may not be able to watch your television anymore, but you can stream everything. You know, if you've got a television that'll stream, or even a computer now will stream, won't it? So I think to myself, in some ways, we don't need a television. I'll pick it all up some other way. So we've talked about garbage. We've talked about my grandmother's cooking stove and her cats. We had a cat, Ginger Cat. And I must have been a right little terror when I was young. I'm not quite sure how old I was. But, however, I got hold of a pair of scissors one day. And I got hold of the cat. And I decided I was going to cut its fur. And you know what? I nearly cut its tail off. A poor cat. Yeah. And then he went out one day, crossover in the fields, got caught in a trap, come back with its leg half off, where it pulled itself out of this trap. And yeah, It killed it in the end. Poor old pussycat. But it used to go roaming across the fields, and of course there was a lot of people then would go and put traps down to catch the rabbits. I remember my dad used to go out rabbiting, but he had a gun. I ever wondered what happened to his gun, and I'm not quite. I suppose he was allowed to have it, but somewhere amongst all the old photographs I got a picture of him with his gun, and my brother sat on the steps outside our house, just about ready to go off rabbit shooting. And I can't ever remember if he caught many rabbits. I suppose he might have caught one or two. But most people used to just put down a trap down in the woods or somewhere. Of course, our cat, I think I told this story before, our cat one day brought home a little mouse. Tiniest little thing. Brought home this mouse in its mouth. And I didn't like that at all. I remember I grabbed the cat, and I don't know how I managed. I got the mouse out of the cat's mouth. It's incredible. It wasn't dead. It didn't even look like it was injured. And I found a little box, and I put it in this little box. I put some cotton wool stuff in the bottom of the box, and I laid it down on the. Obviously, it was stunned because it wasn't moving. And I put this little mouse in this box, and I was going to keep this little mouse, and I'm going to look after it. And all of a sudden, after a few minutes, it jumped up and ran away, and I was so upset. But I thought, oh, I'll keep the little mouse. But no, it got away. Yeah. And the cat went without its lunch. But I'm sure it went out in the field and caught plenty more. At least it didn't bring any more home. Yeah. I must admit, that's one thing I like about dogs. Dogs won't go and catch a rat or anything really, will they? They always, no, hang about. Is it the Jack Russell dog? I've got an idea that they take out to catch rabbits, because I think they will go down a rabbit hole. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we only had a cat. We had a few chicken. And I remember we had cockerel in with the chickens, and they can be jolly fierce. And for some reason, the only person that could approach this cockerel was my dad. He'd get in the chicken run, and this cockerel would more or less come up to him. But anybody else get near him, and he'd fly at you. Vicious thing. But we had, remember one time, we had a load of little tiny chicks, little yellow fluffy things. And I don't know why, but they were brought indoors and put in front of the fire. I remember my mum had a big box. She had all these chickens, little chickies in the box. I don't know why she took them away from. Yeah. But we kept these chickens in a box for quite a while. And then obviously as they got bigger, they got put back out again. Yeah. Crazy. So there you go. Aye, so what else can I tell you? What else? What else? What else? Oh, we never, in the, for quite some time, again, where we lived down in the country there, we had no bathroom, because that was a luxury in those days for a house to have a bathroom. We had a toilet, but the toilet, you had to go out the back door and a couple of steps down and into the toilet. It was attached to the house, but you couldn't get into it from the house. You had to go out. And then I remember my dad being a builder. He built us a bathroom on. God, I can remember I hated going in that place. It was cold, and the walls hadn't been cemented. It was just breeze blocks, and hadn't been plastered over or painted over or anything. It was just these grey. It felt like it was only half built, but it was built okay. And had this bath. We had the bath in it, and then I think he opened up where the loo was as well, so we could get to the loo. But I always used to have, mind you, that was a job to do. When my mum used to have to fill up the tin bath, stick the bath in front of the fire, and however many saucepanfuls of water did she have to carry through hot water to bung in the bath so that you could have a bath in front of the fire. That used to be quite nice, actually. Bath in front of the fire. I probably wouldn't think so now, but it's okay when you're a youngster, isn't it? Yeah. That must have been a job, filling that up and then emptying that out and doing it again. Incredible what, used to get done in those days, and you didn't think twice about it. But times have so changed. Yeah. So I think, looking at the time, I am gonna have to stop. Oh, I'm just seeing on the television here the pictures of the protests that was on up in London. Everybody is just standing and talking. Nobody is causing a fuss at all. Look at that. Yeah, no, they're carrying one person away. 4 policemen carrying one person away. Oh, and there's another one they've arrested. Okay, that's only taken 2 people. And then there's another one they were arrested. And that's an elderly person. And all they were doing was sat on the floor. I don't get this. And there's another elderly person. They're carrying that one. Oh, come on. What are they doing? Just picking them out of the crowd? Honestly, nobody is making any fuss at all. I just don't get this. I really don't get this. So the looks by what it's saying here, the government, instead of trying to find somebody to sit down and talk to, because there's got to be somebody or a set of somebodies who not arrange this, but sort of give out that oh, what about sort of going to London and doing a protest. So the government, instead of trying to find the people to be able to say, well, you know, come on, can we not come to some sort of arrangement over this? The government are going to say, you can't do this at all. Ban protests outright. Well, that's not going to help the situation, is it? It really isn't. I just do not understand it. So, there's another man there. They got this man on the floor. He is absolutely just sat there. And they're going through his pockets. He's not protesting or anything. There's a lady there. Now they're going through her pockets. And she's just stood there. Nobody is protesting. Why are they picking on these people? Police lady there nearly fell over, and the woman she's searching helped to stop her from falling on the floor. Sorry, people, I'm just looking at this. I can't believe this. Man, oh man. Anyway. Do you know, Wills, I'm just looking at, they're showing some of the stuff that was going on up in London at the weekend. They had this massive, massive big protest. Okay. So the police now have just come up. There are 2 people dressed like clergymen. They were sat on the ground. They had placards in front of them. And they've just been arrested. They weren't arguing. They weren't shouting. In fact, they weren't saying anything at all. So now, if you just go there and sit there with a placard in front of you, you're going to get arrested. This is absolutely beyond me. Free speech is out the window here, I think. Oh, Wills, how did your day go? Well, you're still into your day, aren't you? Yeah. They're protesting. They're saying they are supporting Palestine. Yeah, it's this group that have sort of come together over the last little while, called the Palestinian Protest Group or something. And though our Prime Minister, I think last week, said that he recognized Palestine as a proper state, country, or whatever you want to call it. And he is saying, but these Palestinians, protesters who are supporting Palestine, are not allowed to do so. They're not allowed to protest. So they're going to try and stop this sort of protest. Do you know, Wills, all they're doing is sitting or standing. They're not shouting. They're not causing any sort of upheaval at all. They're just stood or sat. And there's hundreds of thousands of them. It's absolutely packed there. And the government now are putting out that they're going to give the police the power to ban these protests altogether. No, you're not allowed to support Palestine. Though the Prime Minister said, that he acknowledges that Palestine is a proper place. I think he did that last week. That didn't go down very well with some people, but no, you're not allowed to be a supporter of Palestine, apparently. Is it the same there, Will? We're not allowed to have an opinion of anything in this country now. Makes me very, very sad. Did you hear my poem I read earlier on? We're not going to be able to say or do anything. Would you like to hear it? And that'll be the last thing I have to do, then I'll have to go. Of course, you're really good to me, Wills. I read this morning after what I've been seeing on the television. Now, I'm going to try and read it through properly. When I did it just now, I've scribbled it down so much that I couldn't read my writing on the back bit because I've squashed it into other writing in bits. Anyway, I will give it a go. Here we go. Why do I sigh in such despair? The news, it shouts, that's not fair. People angry, people cross, calm and patience is at a loss. Every day it gets so bad, the feeling of all is so sad. There needs to be a mediator, one who will calmly tell, don't be a hater. No one is there, and will there ever be, a person who can calm things sensibly. All level thought has gone away. Protests and attack nearly every day. This antagonism just takes over. So many times now, people take cover. People who just want to live their lives. But through history, hate survives. Innocent ones, targets for hate. Young ones who don't know. What's their fate? Will they begin to understand? They are targets, so hates stay your hand. Stop this ever-growing protest. This is where I went wrong. Stop this ever-growing protest. Let the ones you hate just do their best to go about, work and play, and give them peace each and every day. Sorry if that was a bit iffy towards the end. I just couldn't read my writing properly. But that's basically, I just wrote that down in a couple of minutes this morning. Did you like that? That was just, how I felt. I so wish I could get some other topic or subject to bring into my head, something to write down on paper, but there's nothing. Every time you look at the television, you look at the news, there's nothing else. Yeah. Hey, Dan. I am just once again at a loss at everything that is going on. It never changing, is it? I cannot understand why this darn government cannot get something sorted. And somebody was talking I think it was yesterday, I was listening, and somebody was talking and saying they just seem to be turning their backs. They can see all this going on. And last week, the Prime Minister put out a statement saying that he acknowledged Palestine as a state, but he doesn't like the ones that are backing Palestine to protest. And he's going to put down some sort of legislation to allow the police to stop these protests before they start. They're not trying to make, no, they're not Wales. That's for sure. They seem to be just turning their backs. So I got to go. Dan, they're not living up to a lot of the things they said they would to get themselves into power. I don't think they're not helping with anything. They don't seem to be bothered about a lot of stuff. I don't think. I can't believe that they could just see, and also now they should know how people feel about them, and they don't seem to want to put it right. I don't think they know what to do, to be quite honest. A couple of times I've listened to some of the, ones from the government that have taken interviews and been questioned. They've just got sort of a stock answer for everything, and they don't seem to want to explore it that deeply. They're quite happy to just have this bog standard answer for everything and not explain what they could do, might do, or want to do. And I don't think, it doesn't seem to me like they want to do much. I mean, what is the point of giving the police bigger power to tell people you can't protest, you can't do this, you can't do that? You know, already people are being done for just disagreeing with something. You're not even allowed to have a blinking opinion anymore. 1984. Has anybody read 1984? Oh dear. You see, this government now was always supposed to be about the working class people of this country. And so far, they have devastated everyone. Everyone so much so that even a large proportion of the more affluent people, millionaires and such, who do live in this country, have deserted this country and gone away to live somewhere else. And the Reform Party that seem to be coming to be very, very popular now are, I think people are saying, the government of the day are running scared. I don't know. To me, it's a mess, and it's not getting any better. I'm a bit concerned about the Reform Party. They've really, really pushed themselves forward, and unless our government pull a rabbit out of the hat, they are going to be our next government. And the problem is, like you say, Dan, a bunch of liars. They never live up to what they say. And I just have doubts about the Reform lot. I really do. There's one or two little bits have come out about them that, but then again, you don't know, do you? Because everybody's going to pick holes with everybody else. Well, this is it, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Again, you see, this doesn't this doesn't come into our view, does it? We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I think we would be fairly shocked and amazed and scared if we did know who is paying them off. Do you know, to be quite honest, Bills, I was never ever political, ever, until lately, really and truly, until this government came in. And then I was just shocked at what they were doing within the first couple of weeks when they came in. When, like I say, they are supposed to be a party for the people, for the working class people. And they've done nothing for the working class. The people in this country that have worked all their lives and have done everything they can, who now are of an age where they don't work anymore, have been targeted from the minute this government came in, have been targeted and have had stuff taken away from them. And the people who are unable to work, who have mental health issues and stuff like that, they have been targeted as well. The businesses have been targeted. And to say to people, we're going to take away your benefits, you go out and find a job. How can these people get a job when the businesses have been so stuffed up with what the government have done to them that they cannot employ because they cannot afford it? We've gone opposite directions. Yeah. Well, I wish I wasn't, Wheels, but to be quite honest, it's in our faces as soon as you know, I mean, I like to hear the news and I like to hear what's going on around the world, but it's all the same all the time. And I'm thinking, oh my God, just stop this. But it's in your face. And, you know, hey, Michelle. Hi. Yeah. It's still, yeah. Yeah. I can't, you know, I can't. But it's surprising as well the amount of people that have also come on the news and said that they're so against all these protests, saying that, oh, you know, it stops people doing this and it stops people getting to wherever. But I mean, they're not really doing it in the week when people have to get up and go to work. They're doing it the weekends. And I'm just quite amazed at what I've just been watching on television now about what the police are taking some of these people and they're not doing anything. They're just sat there holding up bits of paper with things written on them, bits of cardboard with stuff written on it. And the police are picking them up and arresting them. So you're not allowed to do that anymore. So, yeah. I got to go anyway and see what's to do. I've sort of run over time a little bit. And surprising where the time goes. I have no idea where the time goes. Oh, I got that light on there for. Anyway, see what we need to do now. Anyway, thanks, Wheels, and everyone. I'll text you later, Michelle. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to get some tea soon, Wheels, and some food. I hope your day is going well and as it should. I'll be back tomorrow, slogging away, and see if we can progress a little bit more. Okay. Yeah. So I will now stay out of trouble. Do you reckon the next thing, the next thing you might see me webcamming from a prison cell? Yeah. Okay. It'll be tomorrow. Here we go. You have a good rest of your time. Let's press the button now. Thank you, everybody. And hey, oh, I am going to disappear now.